It's your boy, Dustin from the Flying Chair. It's the Rise Podcast. And today I got my good friend Jack from Chicago, paranormal investigator. And he's the creator of the paranormal investigations or you have that, and you have your conventions you have thrown. I forgot what they're called.
Yeah,
What's
the
the title?
Paranormal Chicago Convention.
Yeah, sorry. It is that easy too. No, and this guy's been on my show twice. This would be his third time, and I just wanted to have him on. I think it's perfect timing to have him on too, because we had this whistleblower yesterday
Yeah,
come out with this video of an egg-shaped UFO that they retrieved. So, and
yeah.
there's very mixed opinions if it's a hoax. Is it real? Is it reverse engineered? Is it just a drone that looks like an egg?
So
So,
all of this is just fresh off the press,
yeah.
we just found out about this. When was it? Yesterday?
Yes.
Yeah, yesterday. So, I'm a little bit iffy on the details, but yeah, Jacob Barber is his name,
Hmm.
and he was in the Air Force, and then he became a contractor working with the government in high security, kind of like, high security projects, as a pilot. And what he says is that, strange things would happen on these missions. And one of the things that happened is that he was piloting, and he was tasked to pick up this egg-shaped UFO, or this egg-shaped something. They don't know what it was,
Right.
but it's, as he says, it's probably a safe bet that it was a UFO, because it didn't have the regular mechanisms as an aircraft would. And we actually have footage of it too. And this was delivered to the news outlet, News Nation. So you could actually look it up, online, and it's a pretty clear, it's in,
It
keep
is
in mind,
clear.
for the people that are gonna look it up. It is in, what do you call it? Oh, night vision.
Night vision. Yeah.
It's a night vision, and it's like a egg shaped, and you see the helicopter like delicately dropping it off.
Right. You
It's
see the rope.
interesting. Yeah, yeah, you see the rope, and when it gets dropped off, it kind of like rolls a little bit on its side, so it's
Right.
definitely like egg shaped, just like it looks,
Right.
just like he describes it. Um, in his line of work, they don't ask questions or anything; they just do what they're told to do, and things like that.
Sure.
Um, and he described that he would pick up other, kind of like related aircraft, and he talks about how one of the times that he was doing it, as he got closer to the location, he had this overwhelming feeling, and he didn't know what it was. It was a sense of euphoria. He says that it was, a combination of like happiness and, well, actually, he goes in to say that when he got closer to this location, he actually broke down and he cried.
Ooh.
And it's the idea that there's a connection between UFOs and our own minds.
Yep.
Like there's some sort of, there's a and we do hear about this a lot, to be honest with you, about how people will see UFOs, and sometimes that these UFOs will communicate with them telepathically.
Yep.
There's something to that. There's a psychedelic nature to the UFO phenomena, you know?
Hmm.
So, I don't know.
No, I think you're right, because I think there was another case. I think was it Zimbabwe, where they had that school that saw that UFO land, and like that you the two aliens popped out of it, and then they gave them some of the kids like a message in their
Yeah,
head, basically, and they're
yeah,
like,
yeah,
"Whoa, what the
yeah.
fuck?"
Yeah, it was in 1994, and over 60 of the kids in Zimbabwe saw a UFO in the distance, and two occupants, and they described them as the typical gray aliens. They
Yeah.
were about 3 to 4 feet tall, and they had large black eyes. And some of the kids said that these beings were communicating with them telepathically. And the Dr. John Mack, who was a psychologist and he became a ufologist, he actually went out there and interviewed the kids and a teacher, and
Yeah.
he did extensive work. And then as they say, he died under mysterious circumstances in 10 years later in 2004. He was well, they say he was hit by a drunk driver, but of course a lot of people in the UFO field say like, nah, that's too inconvenient.
Sure.
So who
No,
knows? But Dr. John Mack was a great researcher, and even though his colleagues would they would kind of scoff at what he was investigating, he still went in and you know, he became pretty well-renowned UFO researcher.
sure.
Yeah,
Sure. Well, that's amazing. Like
yeah,
go back to the egg thing for a second. Like I find it kind of funny that I think the TV show Mork and Mindy and how Mork came out of an egg, right?
yeah,
It makes you wonder
yeah,
too, like there's knowing that aliens have been here since the dawn of time and watching us and maybe influencing our culture and
right,
kind of making fun of us, splashing some ideas or who giving
yeah,
people ideas for these creations like Star Trek,
right,
Star Wars, and uh yeah, with Mork and Mindy or like the Simpsons predictions too. Like
right,
even that, like what the fuck is going on?
right,
Is there something in the back scenes here that just kind of like plugs it in a little bit? Wow, it
yeah.
makes you really think. And then like
Um,
the Tic Tac shape too. And it's like, wow.
there are a lot of reports about egg-shaped UFOs. So
Mhm.
when this came out yesterday and I heard that, my ears perked up because throughout the decades there have been egg-shaped UFOs. Now, what they are, we don't really
It's
know, right?
true.
They could be scouts to like a mothership,
That's true.
or they could be their own alien species. Like maybe they're not part of the Greys at all. Maybe they're their own kind of species. So yeah, definitely throughout the decades, there have been a lot of egg-shaped UFO reports. So yeah,
Again, like here's another case here in Wisconsin. This
yeah.
guy, Hobbs Wilson, saw this egg-shaped UFO land on his fucking property.
Yeah, the Hobbs Wilson case, that's a pretty known case. But yeah, he described it as an egg shaped as well.
Yeah. Well,
So
that
um
makes you wonder what the fuck is going on.
yeah, it does. I think well, there are a lot of these whistleblowers do say, like David Grush, that we have, what they call biologics, right? And there's more than one. There's more than one types. There's various types of alien species. Now, what you were saying in the beginning, we don't really know, right? Like, how much can we trust these whistleblowers?
True.
I want to believe them.
Me too. Me too.
I want to believe Jacob Barber and David Grush. I really do. But you got to remember something. These guys were in the intelligence community. They were they were working with like a lot of propaganda within the government. So it's like I I'm I'm not saying I don't believe them. I'm just saying I'm skeptical, and we have to be skeptical.
Sure. Or
You
could
know,
this could be like a distraction because
it,
it's just
it
like
could,
we're never going anywhere because it seems like Congress is like kind of hitting a wall too with us. Not
yeah,
there's like a theory too that Congress knows what's up and they're just not gonna just share any of that
right.
information. Just gonna say, oh, we don't know. It's a UFO because we can't explain it, and that's that. It's like,
Yeah,
what? No. And you have
it,
all these military guys flying in jets right next to these goddamn things.
it
Holy
could
Christ.
be they could be controlled opposition, you know. They could be, feeding us little breadcrumbs. Some of it may be truthful, and the other could be disinformation, just to throw off the ufologists off the track of what's really taking place. You know?
Yeah. Especially if they're really walking amongst us. I mean,
Yeah,
why if that's the case, I mean, that's gonna be top secret shit.
It's really sad to say, but people in the government or people who have worked with the government, we really have to take what they say with a grain of salt, you know?
True.
Keep
That's true.
keep it in your mind, but then continue on with the research and see what other little breadcrumbs that you could find and kind of put piece things together, you know?
Sure. And I've seen a lot better footage than just the egg shape that we saw last night. Like tons of different footages that I think are way more credible. I think more people should take a look at, and like scientists taking a look at. You know what I'm saying? Wouldn't you
Yeah.
agree? But there's like just throughout time that we have. Oh my God.
There's so much footage out there.
Oh yeah.
Now here's the thing, and I know everybody already knows this, but you look up UFO sightings on YouTube and you're gonna come across a lot of hoaxing, a lot of
Yes.
CGI, but there is
Yes.
some I'll be honest with you, on the top of my head, I can't remember the YouTube channel, but there are a couple different channels out there that like they take footage from various years and they like put them together and compare and contrast, and they're like
Oh,
the same UFO, but they're from years apart,
oh,
taken from people in different parts of the world.
that's cool.
So to me,
That's more genuine. Yeah.
yeah, that lends some
Someone's doing their
credibility
homework.
to it. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
There's a cylinder-shaped UFOs, there's the egg-shaped UFOs, there's a circular shape, and
Yeah.
on and on,
Hmm.
hexagon actually UFOs.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. I don't know,
Or
man.
like that jellyfish yellow UFO that was flying
That's
over
right.
Iraq army base. And they said they
Yeah.
was doing some weird shit by changing to different cold to hot, and then it actually went into the ocean for 17 minutes and then shot out like a bullet. And what's up with
Well,
that?
I have a theory about that actually.
Sure.
I don't I don't know if that's a spacecraft or an extraterrestrial craft. I think what that is what they call atmospheric creatures. Now,
Oh,
what
okay.
these are the upper atmosphere is said to be inhabited by various creatures, and it's not something supernatural. It's actually we just haven't discovered them yet. I guess you could call them cryptids, cryptozoology. You know,
Oh shit. Okay.
so where I'm getting this from is, well, from various things, but right before the 2020 pandemic, there were scientists that were doing a project where they had a rocket go into like the upper crusts of Earth's atmosphere just to see what life forms they would collect, if there were any. And because they're not supposed to be anything living up there, they collected like hundreds of life forms.
Oh shit.
They literally found evidence of a bunch of different life forms. And then the pandemic hit and they had to cancel all future plans for continuing on the experiments.
That's bogus.
Now I did hear recently that they're supposed to restart it again,
Hmm.
but since I haven't heard anything after that.
Wow.
But now, if they found evidence for other life forms up there, the question is, how big could these things be? Now, if you look into the idea of sky creatures or atmospheric beasts, they go by different names. Some people will say that what they see is giant flying mantises in the sky, just like a sea mantis in the ocean.
Oh,
These
okay.
things are described as like a mantis, but in the sky, and they're big.
Wow.
And even things that like, kind of look like whales. Now, these are really rare sightings, but they do occur. And we don't even have like a solid name for them. That's why I have to say things that I see online, which is atmospheric beasts, atmospheric creatures, sky beings, all sorts of things.
Well, it's interesting. Do you know that the movie Nope?
Oh yeah, 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 yeah. Oh, I know what
Okay.
you're getting at. Yeah.
Okay. So that's the fact that the government actually had to talk to these people and director about discussing details about this movie. Like, apparently there's some true fact that there's like these morphing clouds that'll fucking suck people up or horses or animals, and sometimes the blood be coming out or things be falling like the movie Nope, like things
Yeah,
it like digests,
yeah,
whatever it sucks up.
right. Yeah,
So yeah, there's stories of this all around the world. That these like a killer cloud entity type thing, just kind of sucking up things and killing them.
yeah.
But
So one of the first modern paranormal researchers was a man named Charles Fort, and he lived in like in the 1920s, like early 1900s, and he spent years in a New York library collecting, going through newspaper archives, and writing notes on articles that he came across that had to do with like unexplained phenomena and stuff like that.
Mhm.
And so one of the things that he detailed was mysterious rainfalls. And some of these mysterious rings were like rings of blood,
Yeah,
rings of unexplained substances, rings of frogs, rings of fish. So what if some of these sky creatures, they collected animals to eat, and
yeah,
then for whatever reason they exploded, or they vomited back up what they were eating, and that's what we see with these mysterious rings.
that
That's just
is
my theory. I don't know.
that is pretty interesting. Again, right? What the fuck,
Yeah,
man? And it makes you think too that that's got to be made by something. You know what I'm saying? I can see like an alien making something like that.
yeah,
Like a
yeah,
creature that's like a morphing. Because at first when I saw that movie, I was kind of like, damn, that's whack. I didn't like the fact that it's a UFO that was the creature itself that just like kind of transformed into whatever it did. And then I
right.
find out later on that there is historical records of these cloud killing things that just suck up things, and yeah, blood would be coming out or whatever
Yeah,
jewelry wearing, and yeah, crazy fucked up shit.
right. Yeah, I mean, I think there's different phenomena taking place, right? I mean, you got the UFOs with
Yeah.
that come in a spacecraft, and then
Hmm.
you have these other beings that are living high up in the high up in the earth, you know? So it just goes to show how complex the paranormal is, right? Like
So
it's
I'm
so
saying this place is magical, and we can't see some of the stuff because we're all so blinded until we look for it ourselves and go to the certain places that are high activity of this stuff to actually get your own good conclusion of what we're witnessing here on earth. Yeah, because there's just too much, and there's just too much witnesses, there's just too much history that's been collected on it, like
yeah.
we talked about like the spheres, and how uh like we had the drones in New Jersey, and I was kind of relating it to the old paintings of in Germany of like you're seeing those old ones with like the woodcut ones where like there's like an aerial battle in the sky over
Oh yeah,
Germany,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
like the
Yeah.
1600s or some shit
Those
like that.
woodcuts, yeah.
Yeah. And it just kind of reminds me of like, whoa, it's kind of like the same deal. Not necessarily a battle, but just like all this crazy shit in the sky that people are witnessing all at once, thousands
Right.
of people. Yeah, I don't know. And that's just a weird story with the New Jersey drones, because didn't they come from the ocean and then went back into the ocean? What's up with that shit?
Yeah, I again, just like those whistleblowers, I'm a little skeptical with these New Jersey drones. You
Sure.
know, just
And then, well, there's just so many witnesses. But again, how big are they? As big as SUVs? Are they regular size drones?
well, I'm not. I know they existed. I'm not
Sure,
skeptical
sure.
about that. I'm skeptical about the nature of what they were.
Okay.
So, were they really, from some non-human intelligence, or was it us that were using reverse engineering of UFO technology? You
Right.
know,
Yeah.
and one of the reasons why I think that is because some of the people recorded what sounds like a helicopter noise coming
Right.
from these
Yes, I did
drones.
hear that. Yeah.
And it's like, well, that's not how UFOs sound.
No, exactly.
Usually there's no sound.
Yeah.
And if there is sound, it's been described as like a buzzing
Or a
or a
humming. Yeah.
whirring sound. Yeah, a humming. Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's why it makes me think like, okay, maybe this was some sort of government psychological operation taking place. Now the
Right.
question becomes why? Why would they want to do this? I don't know. Were they just testing out these drones? Could be, but I think either way, it's fascinating, whether it was
Yes.
non-human intelligence or if this was human operated.
It kind of reminds me of another case. I think it was back in the 80s, and you got to forgive me on where it was exactly,
Yeah.
but maybe if I describe you the case, you can maybe tell me more. But remember that diamond shape UFO that had a flame underneath it that had a bunch of black helicopters going around it, and it went by this
Oh,
family of his grandmother and his mother, and it was a boy, and they were sitting in a car next to this thing, and
the
they got
Cash
radiation
Landrum case.
burning. Yeah, they got radiation burns on their face and shit after, and they sued the government. They
Yeah.
went to had made some lawsuits, and that's like the only like credible lawsuit that went against the government of some
Yeah.
weird, bizarre UFO thing that was. I don't know if you know more about that.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So, and I forgot which woman it was, whether it was the Cash or Landrum, but one of them stepped out of the car because
Yeah,
they both saw this craft in the middle of the road, and she approaches it, and then there was intense heat coming out of it.
right on the bottom of it.
Yeah, and then when it was taken off, there was these black helicopters that were following it,
Yep.
and they all three of them got sick. They got radiation sick. Um, Whoever was closest got the most sick.
Yes,
So
that's right.
so the young boy, he did get sick, but he was the most safe.
Right, because you're in the back seat.
Yeah, and I really should know her name, but the woman that got closest to it, I mean, she was losing hair and
Yeah,
everything.
her chunks of hair coming out. Yep.
Yeah,
I think
yeah.
her teeth were falling out too.
Unsolved Mysteries did a good episode on that.
Yeah.
The original Unsolved Mysteries from the 90s. They did a good episode on that one.
So again, that comes again with these new cases and new videos that we're seeing are these reverse engineered. Like maybe that diamond shaped UFO that hurt those people was that reverse engineered because these helicopters were just casually going around around it, just escorting it out.
I would actually argue that was an actual UFO.
Sure.
That
Okay.
was a non-human intelligence.
Okay.
I think those what those helicopters were doing was studying it.
Okay.
I think they were making sure that it doesn't do anything, you know,
More crazy than it.
yeah, yeah, like start like shooting down like people like a World of
But
Worlds.
yeah, again, how bizarre the shape that was. Just the straight diamond,
Yeah,
classic diamond shape, and then having fire. And it was described as fire, I
right.
believe.
Yeah, in the
So
bottom, yeah.
makes you wonder. That's weird. That's crazy. Um, yeah, it's endless. Well, what's new in the paranormal world? Have you gone investigate anything new, or I think you said you're writing a new book. Is that
Yeah,
correct?
actually, yeah, and it pertains to kind of what we're talking about.
Oh,
And,
cool.
and and actually it's very relevant to the picture that you have in the back.
Oh,
Yeah. So right there it looks like you have some android or robotic
yeah.
being, right?
Yep.
So when you delve into the UFO field, you realize you come across these accounts where it describes the UFO occupants as being robotic or like an android.
Hmm.
And so I've been coming across a lot of them, and I was like, you know what? I've always read up on these things. I go, but nobody is talking about them, you know?
Mm.
And it's
Yeah.
very surprising that somebody that we know, Sam Maranto, the Sam Maranto for your audience is the Illinois State Director of MUFON, Mutual
Yes.
UFO
Yes.
Network.
Yep.
Um, when I brought this up
I
to
think I
him,
have a picture of him with. I'll
oh,
bring
do
it up.
you?
Yeah,
Are you pulling it up?
I'm pulling it up here. This is at your convention.
Yeah.
There you go.
Oh, that's awesome.
He's such a nice guy. But
Yeah,
yeah,
he
I
really
blew
is.
his socks off with Colonel Wendell Stevens' photographs collection that I had.
Oh, man, he loved that.
Yeah. Yeah.
He loved that. Um, there is a famous case that happened on September 4th of 1964, and his name was Don Shrum. Don Shrum was a 28-year-old hunter, and he went hunting with two other friends. They got separated, and he kind of got lost in the woods, and he sees a bright light up ahead, and he thinks that it was like, oh, they sent for help, like a helicopter or
Right.
something. But then he realizes that it wasn't a helicopter,
Mhm.
and it was a craft, and these two like little people come out of it. And so he kind of freaked out, and he climbs up a tree, and he kind of stays up there. And then a third being comes out, and he said that it kind of looked like a robot because its mouth was like very mechanical. And he describes that when it would open its mouth, it was like this. It was
Oh,
like
whoa.
that. And he said that when it opened its mouth, some sort of gas would come out of it,
Whoa.
and the gas would reach up to the tree, and it would not come out. And he says that he was out for like anywhere from a few seconds to a few minutes. He said he doesn't quite know, but then it would keep doing that. It would try to knock him out. And those two beings, they tried shaking the tree so he could come down, and he never did.
Holy fuck.
And eventually he passed out, and when he woke up for the last time, they were gone. There was no signs of them.
That was it?
And
Oh
that was
my,
it. Yeah.
oh my God. I don't even get down from that tree after a while. Oh,
But there's other accounts that are very similar. I mean, even people who have encountered the gray aliens, they do say that the smaller grays, the 3 to 4 feet foot grays, are mechanical, and they seem to have a hive mind, like they're being controlled by something else. Now,
mm,
a lot of abductees say that they're being controlled. Some say that they're being controlled by taller grays, grays that are more like, 6 feet tall.
yes.
Others say that they're being controlled by what they described as mantis aliens, aliens that look like praying mantises,
Yep. Yep. Yep.
but they're like, the size of
Yep.
humans, you
Yeah.
know. Um, so I'm really fascinated by these accounts that aliens, at least some of them, not all of them, that some of them are actually androids.
Yeah.
They have synthetic skin,
Yep.
but underneath they might be either like mechanical, or they actually might be artificial intelligence.
Yeah. No, I totally fucking agree with you. With like my favorite case of the robotic type is the Pestigula case,
Yeah.
1973.
Okay, so that's another one. Go ahead. Sorry.
Yeah, that's cool. I was just gonna tell you a little brief story of like the fact that these guys are coworkers and they went and go fishing after work and they just saw again a blue egg shaped glowing object that came right behind them. And then the door opens and these three creatures are floating about a foot off the ground, but they were very robotic like how they moved, and their skin was like elephant skin. And
Right.
they really have much features besides like a slit on the mouth, a pointy nose, and a pointy ears,
Yeah.
like hands, like mittens. And again, they grabbed him and like shocked, I think, Calvin Parker, and he was paralyzed, but he still was conscious, seeing what's
Yeah.
happening to him. And then, yeah, but then after they got into the ship, a woman, like a human woman, was interacting with them, like doing experiments, putting their finger down his throat and
Right.
doing a bunch of crazy shit to him. But these were kind of like the minions. They're kind of like, you're right. She was the one that kind of was controlling the bigger guys, these robotic elephant like
Yeah.
crazy things. Um,
And if
yeah,
if there's robotic beings that look like aliens, then I wonder could the aliens create robotic beings that look like humans?
Yeah.
And that's what the Men in Black are.
Sure. Sure. Huh?
Um, a
Mhm.
lot of reports about Men in Black talk about how they don't know basic objects. Like there's that famous report where he's looking at at a spoon and he doesn't know how to use a spoon.
Oh yeah, that's right.
He's given some jello, and instead of eating it regularly, he just puts it all in his mouth, and he doesn't chew, he just swallows it.
Mhm.
There are a lot of Men in Black reports about how when they're talking, eventually they start to lose energy, and they sound like as if their battery is getting lower, so their voice becomes low and their speech becomes slurred.
Whoa.
It kind of sounds like something mechanical.
Sure.
You know?
Huh.
So yeah.
Damn.
So that's where I'm at with my with my book. I'm still doing a lot of research. I'm hoping to be done with it in the spring. It's not going to be very
Sure.
it's not going to be like a thick book. Um it started out where I just kind of was like writing a lot of notes, and my original idea was to like publish it in a magazine. But I was
Oh,
like, no,
cool.
this is going to be too long
Too
for me.
much. Yeah.
So
You know,
yeah.
I was even thinking even further back in history of robots. Like even like our ancient ancestors were kind of writing about the robots. Kind of like there's a Jewish mythical creature about when they made in clay and they put a spell in its mouth and it turns alive.
The
And
Golem.
is that
Yeah, that's the Golem. Yeah.
okay? So like that's a great example of a robot type of thing, right?
You know what? That's gonna help me out, man. I didn't even think about that.
Oh, I got you, man. You got more to write in their book. You got to go further back in
Wow.
history, man. Or like even like some of the Greek uh, uh stories too. I feel like has something like that. But no, like yeah, that's a great example.
Man, you gave me some material, man. Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah. No, I
Um,
think there's actually a whole ancient aliens episode of connecting some of the old stories to robotics. That they're just you're using different vocabulary, obviously. Like this one had sparks and it was going crazy,
yeah, I
electricity
didn't even
flowing
know
through it.
that.
Yeah,
I didn't even know that. I got to look that up.
yeah. I can
I get really when it comes to the paranormal shows, I just, I kind
sure.
of,
Yeah, no,
you know what I'm
you're too
saying?
busy. You're too busy doing your own thing, and that's what I like the most is the more the independent researchers like yourself and get down with the grime and just they know their shit and just have awesome theories like you do yourself. Like, and the fact that you have this book, I'm glad I'm giving you ideas for maybe
Yeah.
going even further in the past of machinery that like we can explain.
Yeah,
Yeah,
because I'm connecting it to like artificial intelligence.
yeah,
So what you said, like that, man, that makes me think, So
yeah.
that's
You'll find
interesting.
more stories like that.
Yeah,
You know.
that's great. Oh man, I'm gonna have to dedicate the book to you, man.
No, you don't have to do all that. This guy, you promised me to come back on my podcast to promote this book. Well, to
Oh,
do
man.
multiple promotions. No, I'd like to help you out and just have you back more and more, just in general, just because I just think you're a great asset to the community of the paranormal and UFOs because you're so fucking knowledgeable. It's stupid. You went to college for anthropology,
Yeah.
and
Oh, you
you,
remember that?
oh, yeah, man, I'm your
Oh
friend.
man,
I'm
thank
your
you.
friend. I think about you
Oh
when you're not
man.
around. You know what I'm saying? I have a big heart for Jack.
Oh
So,
man.
no, I admire you a lot. That's why, again, I follow you and I remember stuff like that. And no, I I
I
enjoyed
appreciate
when I
that.
came to Chicago. You showed great hospitality there when I was getting my own booth with, well, not my own booth, but I was sharing a booth with Barnaby Jones, and he's actually going to be the next one up after you.
Oh, cool.
He's the next, yeah. So maybe we would get like a foursome with you, him, and Chrissy and I. We
I
could do
like
that.
foursomes.
Yeah, that'd be cool. Um, yeah, no, that'd be great. But no, did you have you lately gone to any investigations or just in general? Are you more just focusing on your book right now and just kind of
Yeah, I
relaxing? And maybe I think you're talking about maybe doing a podcast. You're talking about maybe getting a studio.
yeah, that's kind of well, that's kind of under wraps right now.
Oh, it's under wraps. All right, sorry.
So if it happens,
If it happens, and
we'll
then
talk about
it
it.
happens. Okay,
Yeah. But
cool.
yeah, in terms of ghost investigating, it's been a couple months to be honest with you, because I just
Mhm.
been really busy with other stuff. Um, so I haven't, but I will be. When is my next one? I do have one next month. It's in in a local area right here.
Cool.
And, although it's part of the historical museum, so yeah, that should be pretty fun. Yeah.
And you did some lectures too recently, haven't you?
I did a lot
Yeah,
of lectures this
tell me about those.
yeah, I did one on I did a lecture on vampires actually.
Oh, cool. I
Yeah.
love like the legend of vampires or like the
Yeah,
whole.
so
Okay.
it was a vampire mythology throughout the world.
Oh, cool.
So yeah, you could go anywhere in the world and you're gonna come across vampire-like beings.
Ah, okay. That's
Um,
interesting,
yeah,
right?
whether it's Russia, Africa, Germany, France, the Nordic regions, they go by different names, and sometimes their characteristics are a little bit, they're not too dissimilar, but then other times they're like pretty, yeah, but there's the idea of the vampire is really interesting
Mhm.
because a lot of times in mythology, people refer to them as deities,
Yeah.
and we often don't do that today. You know, we just kind of see vampires as like a lower form of demons,
Yeah.
but a long time ago they were practically gods with all their powers. So
That's pretty cool.
yeah,
I just like the movie Interview with the Vampire.
yeah, yeah.
I
That's
like
one of
how
the best vampire movies.
yeah, I think so too. I like how because it starts that gives you more of a feel that this vampire lives for all eternity and he's just
Yeah,
going through time trying to like figure out what he's doing,
right.
or like, he has sympathy too as a vampire. And you think that too. Maybe there's some kind of lines too of they don't cross, and that's why they've never been visible. And the movie Blade is so dope too.
Yeah, yeah.
Blade is
And
so
those are very different vampires. The one in Blade and the
oh
one in
sure.
Interview with the Vampire. Yeah.
Yes.
The one in Interview with the Vampire, it's cool because like the vampires there are part of an elite. So
Yes.
that's
Yes.
why they could go undetected because they're not like these like more um savage type vampires like you see in the movie Lost Boys, you
I
know.
love Lost Boys. Man, that's
Yeah.
one of my favorite movies.
Yes.
The Frog Brothers.
Yes. Yeah.
You
For
can't
people
fuck with
that
the
haven't
Frog Brothers.
seen for people that haven't seen part three, you got to see part three of Lost Boys.
I have all of them actually.
Yeah.
I'm a big fan of the Lost Boys. And Corey Feldman too. He's snapping. Especially the third one was dope.
He's a character,
He
definitely.
is.
Yeah.
And I like how, well, spoiler alert, that his brother gets morphed into being a vampire. But then again, helps him, he's not
Yeah.
he gets as a vampire, it seems like you still could show your your thirst and who you're gonna prey on. You know what I'm saying? It's not like it's
Right.
just like you're a mindless preying thing that just sees the first, guy with
Yeah.
blood. you know,
Yeah.
Very pick and choosy.
They should do more Lost Boy
They
movies.
should. My God. Well,
Yeah.
they're coming out with the new Goonies.
No.
Yeah, it's coming
Are
out. I
they?
don't know if this year or next year. I think it's the end of this year.
I don't know, man. Just leave Goonies alone.
Right?
No, they're gonna mess it up.
Yeah, well, it's maybe if they did it as good as like the new It movies. Yeah, I thought the new It movies was pretty cool.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, well, I mean, yeah, I mean, can it be good? It can, but that's a big risk,
it
you know.
is. Yeah. And
I say just leave it alone. We'll see.
speaking of clowns, look at that guy.
Oh, there you go. There you go.
That's a Chicago guy right here. This
Yes. Yeah,
guy.
why did you have that shirt? What's going on here? Yeah.
I got cool hats. I got cool Chicago shirts.
Oh man. Aliens and clowns. That's like
Aliens and
killer clowns from outer
yeah, I was
space.
gonna say that movie.
Yeah.
That movie's fucking twisted.
That's one of my favorite horror movies.
Yeah.
That's a great movie.
Oh, yeah. If you had not seen this one, you should definitely see it. Is The Guyver.
No, I haven't.
Oh, yes. And was it Mark Campbell's actually in the movie? It's a very low budget movie, but I think it's made from a Japanese comic back in the 80s.
Oh, okay.
It's like this, it's all about like alien entities coming to Earth, trying to find the Guyver that was taken away. But if the Guyver gets to a human, like they're like super, uh, damn, like a superhero basically, like this has like armor and shit, but he fights all these alien things that try to get this Guyver thing that's like connected to his head. But no, it's just badass like martial arts and like blood and gore and shit.
Oh, that's awesome.
No, it's really up your alley. It's kind of like I don't know the best movie to describe it as, kind of like the Toxic Avengers type gore. You know what I'm saying? Not like the comedy, but just the goreness of just ripping arms off.
Yeah.
And um, there's an anime series of the Guyver. It's really gory. I like watching that one. It's pretty good.
You notice like a lot of like in a lot of Japanese pop culture, there's like robotic superheroes
Yes,
and they all
yes,
connected to aliens.
yes, yes,
So I wonder what that's about, you know?
yes. It
It's
makes you wonder
interesting.
too.
I mean, even Power Rangers, it's like that. I mean, they have the Megazords that they
Yeah,
go into, you know?
right.
And then oh, I don't know if you do you know what Masked Rider is?
Oh, I heard of it, but
Yeah,
no.
yeah, it was a Japanese show and there was an American version too. And basically he's an alien with like insect body armor. So he's like robotic too.
Oh, well,
And
that's
he
cool.
fights aliens that come to Earth to take it over. So
Whereas like there's a theory, remember, David Icke's theory about how reptilians are the ones kind of running the world and stuff like
yeah.
that. And like there's a movie that came out back in the 80s, or a TV show or something back in the 80s, like the V or something like that. Where like
Oh,
these,
yeah.
yeah, where like the people are ripping their skin off and there's like
Yeah.
tiles underneath.
That's that it was a mini series. Yeah, you
Yeah.
should see it. It was really good.
Was it? Yeah, I've never seen it.
Yeah, it was really good. Now they did do a remake some years ago. You could skip the remake. You could skip it.
Yeah, yeah. Fuck
But
the
the one
remake.
from the I think it was in the 80s. That's a really good miniseries.
Yeah.
So
They
yeah.
made some fucking awesome uh sci-fi movies in the 80s, man. Didn't they?
I
Holy,
think that was the golden age for a lot of for a lot
he's
of things
still
too.
in it. I think late 70s to early 80s. Well, the whole 80s, I think, just snapped with the
Yeah.
sci-fi. Yeah. Like the
Yeah,
term, like even like you talked about the Terminator. That's another great concept. The fact that AI has gotten so far, and that's we talk about this theory that
yeah.
the AI that we're creating is one day is just gonna say, "Fuck these guys that created us. We're way smarter."
There's a crazy line in the first Terminator movie where Kyle Reese is talking to Sarah Connor and he's explaining everything that's going on and he said that he basically is saying like, you know, we messed up because we allowed the machines to do what they want, you know, unsupervised and they got smart and they took over.
Yeah,
And it's fascinating. I mean, it's not only is it fascinating, but it's kind of frightening because we're entering that time right now, you know?
yeah. That's why I go back to the Mork egg again. It's like does the shit just keep happening like that
You
with
know,
all these movies kind of hinting at our future and our past?
yeah,
Like, what's up with the Simpsons predictions too? That's just like, huh, how'd they getting that on the button more than half the time? That's just weird shit.
you know, is it? all these things could either be one of two things. Either it is a conspiracy that, they're intentionally putting these breadcrumbs in all these movies and TV shows, or it's the idea that artists are tapped into something. They're tapped into the collective unconscious, and they're able to extract, uh, you know, real life scenarios for their art, and that's what's happening when they're writing. So, who
Yeah.
knows?
Or like even like the conspiracy theories that are going on right now with the LA fires, right? And I've heard
Yeah,
there's been UFO activity over the fires too. I'm not saying UFOs did this. I'm just saying like this. There's the conspiracy theory that men are doing crazy things to kind of persuade their ways of. They're even talking about before this fire happened. They want to make like a smart LA. Like, what does that mean? Like rebuild the city? That's a good way to
yeah,
start a
yeah,
fire that way. And
I did hear
kind of,
that. Yeah,
and then like I think months before the fire happened, like insurances dropped fire hazard things, like
mm,
just weird shit that's kind of in line for the perfect storm to hit. Like they knew that winds are gonna blow for weeks on end perfectly. They were just keep spreading, and no one and all the fire hydrants are turned off, and then there's arson and looting. It's
yeah,
just like hell is just going crazy. It's just like these people are just going nuts. I don't know.
yeah,
It just makes you wonder, was there a purpose in the beginning? And I feel like kind of sick that there's a lot of people rooting from different countries that this fire keeps burning people's houses down. You know what I'm saying? Like that's just
yeah. That's pretty sad.
that's
Yeah.
insane. That's crazy.
Well, a lot of people don't know, but the Great Chicago Fire, there's actually a
Oh
conspiracy
yeah, yeah,
around
yeah.
that one.
Tell me
They
tell me
say,
more about that.
yeah, they say that it was actually the British that started the fire because you got to remember for a long time after the American Revolution, when we gained independence, we were actually still fighting the British on American soil.
Oh shit, I
You
never
know,
thought
and
about that.
people
Right,
don't
little
realize
pockets
that,
of
but
shit like that,
what's that?
like little pockets of war that still
Yeah,
probably
yeah.
happened. Right, not
Yeah,
yeah.
exactly. There really were pockets because the British didn't view us as independent, even though we viewed ourselves, but they
Plus
didn't. view us.
plus back then the word can't really go out that fast. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
It probably
yeah,
takes months to get the
yeah,
word out like across the
yeah.
state. You know what I'm saying? That war
But
is over. Stop
yeah,
killing each
but they say that it was happening for because obviously the Declaration of Independence was signed in 1776.
other. Hmm.
And the Great Chicago Fire happened in 1874. So it's a long time, almost 100 years
Sure,
afterwards,
sure,
right?
sure, sure.
But that is one of the conspiracy theories is that it was a British tactic to try to get back at the United States. So
Yeah,
uh,
that makes sense. You know,
there's more to it that I'm not really
do
too
you
familiar.
find it? Do you find it really weird that every state capital in the United States had a fire in it?
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Really?
Like, yeah, and burnt down. Like our capital in Madison had a gigantic fire that burnt it down. My great grandfather was the one who helped rebuild that motherfucker. It had like
Oh,
that glass dome on it and shit. Like really crazy. It was beautiful back in the day.
wow.
And yeah, like what? And like if you do more research on that, why was that
Hmm.
happening? Or is that like or even like old archi like stuff that like if you look at the Capitol in Madison, like just how that shit was built. Why isn't every building built like that all around? Everything else is just so like
Right.
something can easily knock that shit down. Like a car can run into it and the whole thing collapse. You know
Yeah.
what I'm saying? Why don't we see this beautiful marble stuff? Like we used to see it in our old countries, like all over Europe, and then it's just kind of like dissipated and burnt down. Like
Yeah.
the what was that Notre Dame church that burnt down too? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
what the fuck is going on with these old places that are just starting to disappear? I
I
don't know.
wonder if there's some sort of occult significance to burning down certain areas,
Freemasonry,
mm,
Illuminati type shit.
certain
Keep
high profile areas. So
yeah. Yeah, look that up, Jack. About more of the state, all the state capitals in the United
I
States
will.
have been on fire throughout the
Yeah.
past.
Oh, that's gonna
I
take me
found that
down a
odd. I
rabbit
found
hole.
that pretty odd. I was like, what was that all coincidental that all 50 states had fires at them? Or
I
I mean,
know
it could be an arsonist back in the day. It just didn't like, their government and didn't like you know, that could have been reasons why. But again, it's could a lot of them are just mysterious fires too that just
yeah,
happen. So
yeah, that's gonna send me down a rabbit hole today later on. So thanks for that.
yeah, no problem. I'm so glad I'm giving you ideas for your books and
Oh
just
man, dude,
thought and process and going down rabbit holes
this
and
is what the podcast is good for, man.
it is. And I miss talking to you. Seriously, I get such a kick. Even Daniel too, he admits that he would like to talk to you again. Um,
Yeah, for
but yeah,
sure.
again, you're just so knowledgeable and so fun to talk to.
Oh, thanks, man. Appreciate
Yeah.
it. You are too,
Yeah.
man. That's why I like coming on here. It's like you're one of the more laid back people that I get to
Yeah.
talk to. So yeah.
It's the best.
Yeah.
So any more plans for tonight or anything in the future besides the convention you got going on?
Um, I'm I want to do other like mini markets,
Oh, like what?
but little paranormal markets. Besides my big convention, I want to do like little ones
Oh, okay.
where I have a bunch of vendors there.
Like at a library or like
I
at
don't know
a
where yet. That's where I'm at right now. I'm trying to find venues for that kind of thing. So, we'll
huh.
see.
I wonder, well, we here in Madison, I have four other podcasters slash researchers, paranormal investigators. We get together once a month and we just kind of promote our work, our podcast. I showcase Colonel Wendell Stevens photographs. It's always a big kick when everybody comes and just
Mm.
talks with us. We just kind of network with each other and other people who are interested in the field. And it's been really fun. We have this place called the Gamma Ray. That's like a
Okay.
UFO theme bar. It's really cool. They have this awesome stage where people do podcasts there and do have bands play and karaoke and stuff. But it's really cool. It's got like the UFO black lights. Everything's just
Yeah.
really glowing and really cool in there. So we've done a few there. I think that might be the new hotspot because we just kind of bar hop too. We do it at other venues,
Yeah.
but the fact that it's a UFO theme bar is just too perfect not to have it there all the time. And it's really cool. Um, yeah, no, I just where I was going with that.
No, but
uh,
like it's the idea that like we all like come together like in this field and we just kind of like share ideas and stuff like that. And that's I'm really glad that we get to do that. You and I and then us like with other people and stuff. So that's
yeah,
awesome.
yeah. No,
Mhm.
I'm very blessed to have met you and again, just I love to see the drive that you have, the charisma, and then the whole little following of people who uh, are like-minded. They're just so curious about this weird world that we live in, and you're kind of setting the path for people. And just the fact that you have all these lectures, and
Yeah.
dude, you're going somewhere. You're meant to do what you're doing.
Oh,
So
I appreciate that,
I am
man.
very honored to have you on my show multiple times. And in the future, we're gonna have you back, uh, co-host, guest co-host with us sometime. I think it'd be great, or just have a big chat with us with
Sure.
Barnaby Jones and some other local Midwesterners. So I like talking about Wisconsin and Chicago areas.
Yeah, that'd be great, man.
So. Cool.
Yeah,
Well, hey,
I'm
I
for it.
think we'll roll it up from here. Is there before we go, is there anywhere where people can reach out to you if they have any questions or if they want to get some information about Chicago's convention?
Sure. Well, you could reach out to me at Facebook, Jack Chavez. Also on Instagram, just my name. And then the convention will be Saturday, June 7th in Countryside, Illinois. On Facebook, just type in Paranormal Chicago Convention, 2025, and it'll come up. And I hope to see you there, man.
Yeah. Yeah. No, again, I had such a great time. I was very impressed by just how many vendors were there.
Yeah,
Everybody was so talented with what their research were doing, or they had little knickknacks, or they were doing tarot card reading, and they had even like haunted dolls.
yeah,
Some
yeah.
dude brought some real haunted dolls, and they put some ghost balls in there and asking
Right.
dolls questions and shit. Like, holy shit. I again I still have not been on a ghost hunt or walk or any of that.
Sure.
I love to have you take me on a tour sometime.
Oh, dude, for sure.
That'd be great because you're very knowledgeable. I would love to listen to you just talk anyways. Um, but yeah, it'd be great.
We'll do that. We'll do that for sure. You
Okay,
know.
sweet.
So yeah.
All right. Well, hey, why don't you stick with me for 2 more minutes?
Sure. Yeah.